Good afternoon. The time now is 4:46 p.m. I'm Christine Baptiste Perez. I'm the chair of the Policy, Personnel, and Contracts Committee. We're having a meeting via Teams today. Today's date is Monday, September 16th, 2024. The first item we have on the agenda is approval of minutes from July 25th, 2024. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
It's been moved by Ms. Bain. I'll second it. Is there any conversation? Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes carry. We're going to then move on to the next item on the agenda, which is discussion and possible referral to the full board for approval, the continuation of our graduate internship agreement with the University of Bridgeport. Who's here to present on that?
Good evening, Ms. Baptiste Perez. I think it's me. My name is Michael Brosnan. I'm a teacher with Bridgeport Public Schools, and work with our university partners in placing student teachers and developing partnerships to help staff our schools. The contract that Ms. Clark submitted for this committee is the same contract we've had with UB for a number of years. It certainly predates me. I think this is going back about 15 years. Interns spend the entire school year working with our teachers and helping out in our schools, and for a discounted master's degree tuition, and Bridgeport offsets that for them, payable at $8,000 per semester to UB.
Okay. Is there anything else, Mr. Fonson?
I don't think so. On the sheet that I received from the board secretary, there was an associated cost that'll need to be adjusted. I believe it was printed in error. It is a per candidate cost. And ordinarily, I think as we've done in the past, that we've approved up to 10 of these. So the cost associated is inaccurate. I can have that adjusted prior to it going to the full board. Should it go to the full board, I should say.
Okay. And so, thank you. I just want to give a little caveat for anyone watching from home, and this is pursuant to our board bylaws. While board members may attend meetings of committees, they are not members. Currently, the only committee members in this meeting are myself and Ms. Bain. So, board members, they shall not participate or vote as a member of such committee, and shall not participate or be present in portions of the committee held in executive session. Notwithstanding that, the committee chair may recognize them to speak in portions of the meeting open to the public. In the interest of time, and that there is another committee meeting at 6 p.m., I'm not going to open the floor up for other board members to ask questions. So it will be myself, Ms. Bain, and if Mr. Woodson joins us, he will be privy to asking questions. Ms. Bain, do you have any questions regarding this first action item with the University of Bridgeport?
Not at this time.
I have a question. Can you just clarify more in terms of where the error is with what's being presented?
Certainly, on the note that the graph that sort of goes across with organization name, focus area, requested items, under costs listed as $253,000. That's not accurate.
What should the cost be?
As I mentioned, this is a per intern cost. Ordinarily, we have approved up to 10 of these positions. So, and I think Ms. Siegel had budgeted for 10. At the moment, we only have 1 because this contract is still awaiting approval. So at the moment, it's 16,000.
Okay. And in terms of the intern signing up, if this is approved, what's the process for someone to become an intern with UB?
Sure. So they enroll in their Masters of Education program. So all of these folks are teacher candidates, teachers in training. They complete their master's degree coursework in the evening, while during the day they're working in our schools, supporting as an occasional substitute, and also learning from the mentor teachers that we have in the building.
Is it first come, first serve?
That's a great question. Probably a good one for UB. They admit the interns or folks into their candidates into their master's program, and then they partner with a lot of different districts, but many of them select Bridgeport to do their internship year, and so they are sent to my attention, and then I meet with all of them to figure out the best placement for them and best learning environment in our schools.
Nice. The last question I have is in terms of the success with the program. Has it been successful? Have you been able to retain teachers after they get their masters with this, for lack of a better word, discount in our partnership with UB?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that we can say that the partnership with UB has been successful. Their program is actually a year and a half, so the following school year they end up doing their formal student teaching. After that, we're able to hire them. So what I've seen in my 5 years in this role is that when interns are placed in buildings where they can have a good learning experience in their internship year, they return again to complete their student teaching and then become eligible for hire. And we do hire an awful lot of graduates from UB. It's one of our strongest sources.
Excellent. I don't have any more questions, and Mr. Woodson has not joined us. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to refer to the full board for approval with the corrections. The approval of the continuation of the graduate internship agreement with the University of Bridgeport. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion.
I'll second. Any debate? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. No abstention. The motion carries unanimously. This will go to our next regular board meeting, and I don't have the date in front of me. But I'm sure the board members would like to have the correct information before we go forward. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible referral to the full board for approval, the continuation of the resident teacher agreement with Sacred Heart University.
I think that's me again. So hello. Sacred Heart's program is similar to UB's in the piece that it does have some tuition remittance for the candidates at a discounted rate. There's also a living stipend available to the Sacred Heart residents. A little bit in contrast to UB's model, I think UB is moving this direction. They're working in partnership with us, Bridgeport Public Schools, to create a more residency-focused program. But Sacred Heart's is longstanding partner with us for many, many years, again, predating me. The residency is in its 5th year in partnership with Bridgeport. It was founded and co-constructed with Bridgeport Public Schools. This program pairs a Sacred Heart master's student, master's of education student, with one of our master mentors for the entire school year. So they are in, our students really reap the best benefit, I think, because they have 2 practicing adults in the same classroom as teachers for the entire school year. Upon completion of the residency year, the Sacred Heart graduates are returned to Bridgeport Public Schools as teachers of record. So there is the outlay of the tuition, but there is a commitment to return to Bridgeport Public Schools for a full-time position. And that has proven to be, very valuable. They have a strong secondary education program, which is frequently an area where we struggle to hire. And this is certainly one mechanism for us to staff our buildings with high quality teachers. think the other note about the residency program itself is the exceptional preparation that it offers. When these folks are our teachers of record after the residency year, there is no learning curve for them, really. They're walking in as a second or third year teacher. They're already familiar with the district, our policies, and all of the technology platforms that we have in curriculum. So it's served as an excellent source of staffing and recruitment for our teachers and for our schools.
Thank you. Ms. Bain, is there any questions?
I just would like to ask, what's the turnover for this ratio of, said there's a requirement or get hired that goes through the program? Am I mistaken, or can
Ms. Bain, I'm not sure if it's only on my end, but I couldn't hear anything.
You're
Okay, so
cutting
what
out
I,
a little.
okay,
Oh,
so
there you
can you
go.
hear me better? Okay, great.
Yes, much better.
Well, I was asking, what is the turnover for this program? And it's very similar to the one you just mentioned with UB. So what's the difference?
Yep, that's a great question. I think the primary difference is that Sacred Heart can provide a special education candidate. UB does not have a special education program.
Okay.
In terms of the commitment, there has been some attrition. There has been some attrition. The original contract that we drafted for the 2020-21 school year required a 3-year commitment on the part of the resident. We had a little bit of difficulty with recruitment with the 3-year. This modified contract has a 1-year commitment, but to be frank, we haven't lost that many who've even aged out of the program. We have most of the first cohort still here.
Okay.
Actually, one is serving as a mentor to a new resident this year, which is really cool. And we're looking for people who have local roots as well and who actually want to stay in this area. I think when we launched the program initially, we did have candidates living out of state. You know, they were finishing their graduate degree, but they were from New Jersey. And I think we could all identify with the cost of living constraints here. It was a little difficult for some of those folks. They stayed the term if they could, but really what we've experienced is out of the first 2 cohorts, we still have over 50% of them with us 5 years later. And, you know, I think that'll only continue to improve, to be honest. I do.
All right, thank you.
No, thank you.
No more questions. No more questions, Madam Chair.
Well, a good chunk of my questions were answered. The 1-year commitment, 50% retention 5 years later. The only question I have, hearing the distinguishing factor from UB, is how many teachers are we receiving from this program at Sacred Heart with their actual special education degree or background?
This year is actually the first year that we've had special education candidates. There is only one of the 10. I will say, to speak to our other shortage area, there is a math, there is a science, and there is a secondary English candidate. So we're always looking to bolster the areas that we need the most. There's an opportunity for us to welcome more special education candidates in the future.
So this is the income. I don't have any more questions. So with that being said, do I have a motion to refer this to the full board for approval of the continuation of the resident teacher agreement with Sacred Heart University?
I make a motion to refer to the full board.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries unanimously. This too will get referred to our next regular board meeting. Unless you're still with us for the next one, Mr. Bronson.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible referral to the full board for approval of the N2Y digital curriculum.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Michelle McKinley, and I am the Chief of Special Education. And I come to you this evening to request to approve the purchase to continue the licensing and use of N2Y, News to You. N2Y is a special education software and solution that we use for our students with communication needs. We use the N2Y solutions, basically they're symbol sticks, as a lifeline for our students with communication disabilities. It enables our unique learners to understand and express their thoughts and needs through visuals. Symbol Sticks is an evidence-based symbol communications tool that allows our students, parents, and service providers to communicate learning, language, and self-expression through interactive communication. This resource is used as high-tech and low-tech on some of our communication devices. It's also used with ProLoquo Go. It's basically a library of icons that's used district-wide, again, for our students with communication needs. And the purchase for the licensing is $39,404.35.
Any questions, Ms. Bain?
Yeah, I have one question. And so you said it's 35,000?
39.
39. Okay, and how much was it before?
Good question. Hold on just a second. Hold on, I just had that folder in front of me.
It's okay. Well, okay, so another question is.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, okay, you have it?
Yes, ma'am. Let's see here. So it looks like there was a quote. Hold on. So Ms. Bain, it looks like in 2021, it was $47,811.
And do we get a budget every year for this? So it's actually, is the price going down for this N2Y program?
Yes, it looks like it has decreased from 21 to currently. And that's the last one that I have is from 2021.
Okay.
And it is something that we have been using for several years. Again, it's something that every year to renew the licensing, we have to purchase.
Okay, so every year we purchase this N2Y program, and or is this program for multiple years, or is it every year? Because you only have up 2021 for the last purchase.
So it is, we get quotes yearly. hold on, somebody's trying to communicate with me that may be giving me some background information here. Hold on.
Sure, that's fine.
So it looks like this will be a 3-year renewal,
Okay.
but prior to that, from 21, it looks like it was a 3-year, and now it's time to update.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Is it a yearly or is it a multi-year program? So that's
Yes.
good. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to know. So that's okay. So no further questions.
Great. I have a question in terms of the source of the fund. Are we funding this from a grant or is it coming out of the operating budget?
It looks like it's coming out of operating. And I do have copies. I'm sorry, I thought it was going to be in person and I can get you the physical copy, but it looks like it's coming out of the operating budget.
Okay, well, yeah, as long as it's available to all board members when it comes down to the regular board meeting, and so everybody has the information in front of them. Do you have any feedback from the speech pathologists using this curriculum in terms of its effectiveness with working with students?
Yes, ma'am. They are biting at the bits right now to get this approved because it's very critical in how our students who don't have language are able to communicate with the symbols. And the ongoing access, it's how teachers also build visual schedules for their classroom as well as for individuals. And again, like I said, for those that do have high-tech devices and we use it on like iPads or Proloquo to go, that's their language. And so the earlier that we can start, the more that it does show being effective for students.
And this may be a silly question, but because it hasn't been approved by the board yet, is the curriculum being used in our with the speech pathologists right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So the company has been very fortunate to kind of extend until we can get this approved.
Okay, but it's urgent and high need for our students that need the service.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion and possible referral to the full board for approval of the N2Y digital curriculum. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
I'm sorry. Oh. Committee member Andre Woodson has joined us, so it's a full quorum of the board. Could have said something, but so Mr. Woodson has moved it. I will second. Is there any debate from committee members regarding this?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. We will move this on to the next full board meeting. And again, I don't have the date, but thank you so much, Ms. McKinley.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible referral to the full board for approval to renew subscription with Thought Exchange.
Madam President, Ms. Christine Baptiste Perez, Dr. Avery, Deputy Superintendent. I am going to take this item. I also have Mohammed Hassan here from Thought Exchange that is going to give you an overview of how we use Thought Exchange over the past year. This is a renewal opportunity for the district for the board to consider. Mohammed?
Is that my cue, Dr. Avery?
Yes, sir.
Do I have access to share a screen? And if not, it's totally okay.
Yes, just a second. Madam Chair?
Oh, no, you're asking me to do the tech?
Yeah, the little three dots there. You should be able to.
We're getting it right now.
And Dr. Avery, I can just talk about it, and it's okay if it's trouble. Oh, there you go. I can see it now. Okay, give me a second here. Window here. Can I get maybe? Can everybody see my screen? Can I just?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So once again, Dr. Avery and the team here, thank you so much for having me here. And my name is Mohammed Hassan. I work at Thought Exchange as a customer success manager. I'm also the single point of contact for all things Thought Exchange with Bridgeport, and it's been a privilege to work with Dr. Avery and his team. The quick overview of what is Thought Exchange. Thought Exchange is an AI-powered engagement platform that helps you connect with all your key stakeholders, so your families, your staff, your students, and community members. And with the help of, we help you harness their feedback, their opinions, and they help you quickly understand what matters most to them, helping you build that culture of trust and collaboration. And with the help of generative AI, you can also take informed decisions right away, ensuring everyone within your entire district community feels heard and feels valued. Also, our platform can collect both quantitative and qualitative data, and then the AI can analyze all of the data in seconds, turning them into clear, actionable insights, saving you days and weeks of time that you'd otherwise spend in analyzing that data. Our AI can also even suggest customized action plans tailored to your district needs, helping you make those decisions that are aligned to your district. I'm going to move over very quickly to the next screen, just give you a quick overview of some of the work that you've done so far. So last year, we have engaged over 9,000 participants within your community, within your schools. And on an average, each of these people spent about 7 minutes being engaged. And if we were to translate that into personal engagement, in-person engagement, that would mean about 7 minutes per participant. It would mean that about 63,000 minutes we have saved, because Thought Exchange helps you scale those conversations that can happen in minutes and seconds. So over 63,000 minutes saved, and then on an average about 131 days of time saved by the district. Finally, this is a quick sneak peek of some of the work that you've done. You may have seen this early on in the year, sometime in March, earlier this year. We had this great school calendar engagement. I'll just give you a quick overview. This was done in second by the AI. Basically, we engaged over 1,200 people, all of them staff, a good participation rate, a very good completion rate as well. And the AI basically summarized that there were 5 top topics, themes that came out as a result of the discussion. It was very equitable. We were able to involve your teachers, your educators, your certified staff, your classified staff, your district leaders. All of them were able to go in and share their input. And then obviously the AI gave you a summary of those responses as well. I'm going to pause there to see if there are any questions in the room. I can stop share.
Mr. Woodson, do you have a question?
Yes. Can you tell the difference in who's participating in this, teachers or community?
Can you? Yes, the answer is yes. That being said, the engagement is completely anonymous. So everybody is as a way to share their thoughts and ideas, but there's no way to connect any other thoughts to a person. It is completely anonymous, but the system can disaggregate the data based on those participants. So we would know what is the community saying, what is the teachers saying, what are the students saying, We can disaggregate by grade levels if needed, by ethnic groups if needed, roles of the school, of the district staff by needed. If we had the community broken down by, I don't know, towns and coastal areas, we could disaggregate based on that as well. And you'd understand those deeper insights based on the disaggregation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bain?
No questions at this time.
Oh, just so it's completely vetted in the committee level, and I want to be able to report this to the full board. I know we've utilized Thought Exchange, and you showed it in the presentation with the break times. We did a survey with teachers at the beginning of the school year, and so I think it's a really fantastic product. I can't remember which data I'm recalling exactly, but it was able to take like some of the recurring words that were coming up in the survey and put it into, I call it the thought bubble, and what was the most common concerns. And I think this was during our Thanksgiving break with teachers.
Yes.
But I really like Thought Exchange, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it we can receive the data in real time?
Yes, that is correct. You're able to see the data. As soon as participants come in, you're able to see the data in real time. In terms of, I just know that this tends to be a very popular question amongst the board, but in terms of pricing, is there any significant change in pricing that the district's going to have in this? Significant is an interesting word.
Any changes in the price or the price? That way people can just say it's the same.
Based on the contract, we have a standard like a 5% increase year after year. That's just inflation and other things. And we are an innovative company, always innovating, putting new stuff out there. So there's a standard 5% increase, and there was an additional discount put in last year. That discount, there's some discount applied this year as well, but the discount reduced a little bit. So there's a slight price increase. I wouldn't say it's significant, but it's there in the quotation that I shared.
Yeah, I think Thought Exchange is excellent as just the board chair wanting to engage the community in a survey for the vision and values for the district. And so this is a critical tool to move forward and get that data out and that survey out to the community. And it's a really powerful tool. So I'm going to make the motion to refer to the full board for the renewal of the subscription to with Thought Exchange, and I'll look for a second.
Second.
I've made the motion. It's been seconded by Mr. Woodson. We're in debate. Seeing no committee members engaged in debate at this time, all in favor of referring to the full board approval to renew the subscription with Thought Exchange, say aye. Aye. I only heard myself. I saw you come off of mute, Mr. Woodson, but I didn't hear anything from you, and I didn't hear anything from Ms. Bain.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstain?
Aye.
Are you opposing, Ms. Bain?
No, I'm not opposing. It's a delay. I was trying to get back, and so no, I'm going forward to
Okay.
full meeting. Yeah.
So I'll do a simple roll call vote. Baptiste Perez, yes. Mr. Woodson?
Yes.
Ms. Bain?
Yes.
Okay. From the roll call vote, motion carries unanimously. We'll refer this to the full board. Thank you so much, Mohammed and Dr. Avery.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible referral to the full board for approval of the lease agreement between the Archdiocese and Bridgeport Board of Education School for St. Peter's Board of Education for St. Peter's School. Who's here presenting on that?
Good afternoon, everyone. Tony Pyrus from the business office. This is basically an addendum to the existing lease between the Board of Education and St. Peter's School that houses the Classical Studies Academy. This is a 3-year lease with the option of termination every year with a 60-day notice. And it's basically for $75,000 a year, which is consistent with what we paid last year. And there's a 3% increase on a yearly basis for this lease. So this is basically an addendum to extend the lease that already exists with the diocese.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Pires. I'll going to take questions from committee members. So is there any questions, Ms. Bain? And she did say she's having some delay in response, so just wait a second. Okay, I'm going to move on. Mr. Woodson, do you have any questions regarding this addendum?
No questions.
This point may be very moot, Mr. Pires, but theoretically, if the board didn't approve this, then what would happen?
Well, leases that terminate, they convert to month leases, and the diocese could at some point basically kick us out of there. I don't think that's likely, but we really don't want to engage in that kind of a relationship with the diocese, especially when we have the need for that space to accommodate the classical study students until we find the future home for them, which will be in our swing space.
Got it. I've heard board members in the past talk about alternative spaces, but we have already started the school year and the students are on site there, correct?
That is correct.
I mean, I've read through the contract. It makes sense to me. With regard for the public watching, is it typical that we go into 3-year renewals?
It's not unusual. That's usually how we, secure a favorable rate for leases. Landlords typically want to have some insurance that they'll have a tenant. But in this particular case, we were careful to add a termination clause into this addendum that would allow us at least a 60-day notice in case we have circumstances that would change our need.
Okay. And then if we were to become a month-to-month tenant, just hypothetically, would that increase the price greater than what we're paying right now?
It could. We would have to enter into negotiations to make sure that it doesn't, but there's a chance that it might.
Okay. I mean, that's all the hypothetical questions I have, Mr. Pires, so thank you so much. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to...
Madam Chair, if you don't mind.
Oh, is that Nestor? Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
Madam
Nestor.
Chair.
Yes.
Good evening, Madam Chair. The only thing, Nestor Nikor, the new MDC for the city of Bridgeport. The only thing I have concern there is in the body of the lease of the amendment, item number 3, it calls about the city of Bridgeport school system reimbursing the landlord the liability insurance, which to my understanding never was in place or existed or part of the lease agreement in the prior lease that expired. And as I've been made to understand it, the insurance liability premium they're referring to is $10,000 a year. What I'm proposing here, if the board is going to approve it, strike that line item 3 out. We never paid it in the past from what I understand. It should not be snuck in there without a definitive amount pronouncing the amount.
So you're referring to item 3, additional rent, page 1?
Right.
Yeah, where it says insurance.
Yeah, it says additional rent. In addition to all other monetary obligations under the base lease, tenants shall be responsible for the reimbursement of landlord for landlord's payment of insurance for the premises.
So, Madam Chair, what happened? That's why I had asked the board to table that contract in the last board meeting till we get the understanding of how much more value does that language command. That language you see there, it's a $10,000 line item that the Bridgeport school system never paid in the old lease.
Oh, now I have a follow-up question. Is there any other changes that should be brought to my attention aside from the pricing? And I consider that inflation over time.
Well, that leads to if we do extend the lease for a second and third year and we decide to stay there, does that insurance cost escalate at the same rate? I don't know the answer to that question.
But Madam Chair, my issue there is they're doing a 3% annual increase on the rent, which I'm fine with. But $10,000 that we never paid in the past. So it's another $10,000 annual rent increase, pretty much.
No, that's actually an excellent point to point out to us. If we weren't paying for it in the past, and I know constituents have complained regarding the site for classical and what we're paying as tenants to the landlord, and so to bring it up that's something we haven't paid in the past. Mm-hmm. I think that's critical. A critical conversation, weighing that we don't want to be periodic, not to use the technical term. Periodic tenant is a month-to-month tenant. Mm-hmm. But to avoid it, I think this is something that I would like to engage in discussion with the full board. Mm-hmm. I think they'll be online with you, Nestor. Because that is something critical to wait. It wasn't there before, and the risk is becoming a month-to-month tenant. What would the full board want to do? And so I would like to engage in that discussion with the full board. Mm-hmm. To strike that line item out. Like I'm debating on whether I want to present it and strike it out now, but I think it may be just worth presenting to all 9 members, and you can present exactly what we've done here, and I can advise the board that we can.
Madam Chair, may I make a recommendation?
Yeah.
Can we refer this to the full board with the condition that item number 3 will be removed? And if the board approves that, then we can negotiate between the next board meeting and the diocese to see if there's an impasse on it, or we can proceed without that item. And at the board meeting, we'll present the results of that negotiation with the diocese.
Good. If that negotiation can happen before the next regular meeting, that'll be ideal. So at this time, what I'm going to do is seek a motion to refer to the full board the lease agreement between the Archdiocese and Bridgeport Public Schools for St. Peter's School with the removal of item number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I was writing down the motion itself. Who's making the motion?
I seconded the motion.
Tahiba making a motion to move to the full board with the exclusion of item number 3.
Okay, so it's been moved by Ms. Baines, seconded by Mr. Woodson. We're in debate. Is there any debate from committee members regarding this? Any final insight from Ms. Pires or?
No, we'll work on it between now and the next board meeting, so we'll have a definitive resolution for you to consider at the full board meeting.
Yep.
Okay, well, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimously. This will be referred to the next full board meeting. And that's the last item, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the policy
I make
personnel
a
and
motion
contracts
to
committee.
adjourn this committee meeting.
It's been moved by Ms. Bain. Is there a second? It's been
Second.
seconded by Mr. Woodson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed?
Thank
None. The motion to adjourn is passes unanimously. The time now is 5:31 p.m. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.